Today's professional development will be over backwards design. Our objective today is I will understand backward design and be able to apply it to a lesson plan. So for starters, I want everybody to grab their sticky notes that they have on their tables and a pen, and write on the sticky note just a quick little what I think backwards design is. I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to think and write. Ten seconds. All right, so on the anchor chart on the wall to your left, just go and stick that right there where it says underneath what I think backward design is, and we'll revisit this later. All right, so now that we all have defined what we currently think it is, let's actually look what it's defined as. So what is it? Backwards design is a design model that was introduced by Grant Wiggins and J. McTighe. This design model states that teachers need to plan their units with the end goal in mind. Usually this end goal is a final assessment. So whether you get together with your teammates, your content level teams, and create your final assessment, this should be done before you start planning the actual unit. Why do we do this? So there's three main reasons why we do this. When teachers focus on the desired results, they're more likely to achieve them. The second reason is teachers can convey them why the material is important to their students. During the lesson, once you have the end goal, you can communicate to your students why we're doing this, why we need to reach that goal. And the third reason is students are more likely to stay on track with backwards design planning rather than traditional planning, so having that student engagement within your classroom. So there are three stages to backwards design. Stage 1 is identify your desired results. Define your goals for that lesson or that unit. What do the students need to be able to do? What do we want them to do? Stage 2, we're going to determine acceptable evidence. This is how we'll know when our students have reached that goal. What will they be able to build? What will they be able to do? That sort of thing. Stage 3 is we're going to actually plan our instruction. So lastly, once we have determined what we want, determined how we'll know we have it, then we actually get to start planning our lessons. So how will we get our students to reach our goal from stage 1? What activities are we going to use? What strategies are we going to use? The whole lesson plan. So let's practice with Math TEAC 5.2b. So on your tables, there is a template, a handout that you have that is just the standard lesson plan with the 3 stages clearly written out. So 5.2b says, compare and order 2 decimals to thousands and represent comparisons using the symbols less than, greater than, and equal to. So you're going to use your handouts on your tables, and let's walk through this TEAC together. So stage 1 for this TEAC, we need to decide what we want our students to do. How do we need to define our goals? So first, we're going to state some possible lesson objectives. So I have 2 here for us. Number 1 says represents the comparison of 2 decimals to thousands and represent comparisons using the symbols greater than, less than, equal to. And our second objective is use visual models to order decimals to the thousands place in problem situations. So either objective will work for this TEAC. Then next, you're going to look at your lead forward field guides that we have, and we're going to also look at past STAR questions to see how this TEAC was asked on the STAR test. So that's all in stage 1. We need to determine what the goal is. Then we look at stage 2. We need to determine acceptable evidence for this goal. How will we know when our students have reached it? So this is where we go and we create our assessments with our grade level team. We create our check for understandings. Our assessments can be formative, summative, cumulative. We're just making our assessments, or we can use ones that we already have. Then we're going to use our lead forward resources. We're again going to go back into the old STAR test and look on how this TEAC is asked. So here we have 2 different examples on how they can ask 5.2b. So the first one is more using the symbols. The second question, the students would have to order them and then count to the 4th position to determine the correct answer. So those are two examples that based on what objective we had picked earlier. Then we're going to go right into stage 3. This is actually planning our instruction. How will we get our students to this goal? What activities will be used? What strategies will be used? So we're going to determine what activities to use. For example, having the students create a human place value chart. That's really good for our kinesthetic learners, get them up, using their own bodies to create these orders and comparisons. Another way is you can work with your content team to plan meaningful, engaging activities for your students. So if you already have something that you love for this week, go for it. But you don't do that planning step until the very end. And then use technologies you can. I simply linked just a YouTube video that explains it more for your kind of visual learners. So do we have any questions at this point? No questions? Okay. So revisiting what we did earlier, I want you to turn and talk to your table mates for a second. Based on what you thought about what backwards design was before our short little training, we put that sticky note on the wall. We're going to do the same exact process, but now we're going to fill in the part that says what I now think backwards design is. So after our training, after we got to walk through a lesson plan together, what now do I know about backwards design, and what did my thinking change? Did I know it before the training? Did I was totally wrong? Talk with your table mates for a second, and then you're going to write on another sticky note and go put it on the left-hand wall whenever you're ready under the second column. I'll give you some time to talk with your table mates. All right, now you should be moving on to actually writing on your sticky note. Give you about 20 seconds to do so. All right, now let's go put back our sticky note. And while you're up there, just look at what other people had to say. Look at what they thought backwards design was to begin with, and now how they changed their thinking. And then maybe if you forgot already, reflect on your own sticky note from the first column. Just take a second up there and see what your teammates, your schoolmates have to say. All right, now that we've all returned back to our seats, we have one last part, and it's actually going to help you with the first week of school. You're going to actually plan your own lesson using backwards design with your content area. So your turn. With your grade level team, you're first going to choose a TEK from your first unit. So if you teach third grade math, pick a third grade math TEK. If you teach first grade, pick a first grade TEK. Plan with your grade level team on this. So you're going to be using backwards design to create a lesson plan. And number 3 is kind of your exit ticket of the professional development. You're going to submit your lesson plan. It doesn't have to be typed up or anything. Writing it is totally acceptable. So while you're doing this, I will be circulating around the room just to poke my nose in, see if you guys have any questions, make sure we're all on the same page with this. So you can go ahead and get started, and I will be walking around the room. Thanks.